In this video, I want to show you guys what happens when we put a bunch of mirrors facing each other in certain ways. So I've got these 4 mirror tiles and I've quickly taped them along their edges. And I can just fold them in various patterns, and also they're flexible. So this isn't exactly what you would see if they're perfectly flat, but the flexibility and the angle also changes what happens, and we'll get to that later. So here we've got the square orientation, and I think you can just guess what you're gonna see. You see a bunch of these square rooms repeated if you really to look inside. Now this is the equilateral triangle, and once again we have repeating rooms, and this is just equilateral rooms repeating, and you can kind of see a hexagon pattern forming here, where you have, like, if you just look at the shading, they form these regular repeating patterns in hexagon tiling. So these two shapes, the equilateral triangle and the square, have all been tiling shapes, which mean that when I put these mirrors together, their rooms are all non-overlapping, so you see the same thing whether you look through one mirror or another. But as you get through untileable shapes, like regular pentagon, it's gonna get much more messy, and you're gonna be seeing things that you don't see everywhere. Like if you look at just this edge right here, on this side you see this side you see that, so it's not the same, but it does make some cool patterns. And this is an open one, and even with all this open space, you can still see like a decent depth, so they're just bouncing around here and then they come out. I'm planning to turn these into infinity box of some kind, where I would have a partial mirror here that bounces some light back in and allows you to get some light out. So when you look through here, instead of when the light comes here, it would just come out, and then the depth would end. It would keep on going, so it would make this look even deeper. Okay, we're back to a triangle setup, except this time I'm showing you what happens when you have a curved mirror. So here you can see just from the gravity that these tiles have curved just a bit, and I've got this flashlight here that is going to show you help you find the number of individual reflections, and this is what it looks like. You can see that as the distance goes on, instead of being linear, the flashlights actually exponentially increase because it's bending. And this connects to chaos, and it's just when you have things bouncing off curved walls, like that are curved inward, they increase chaos, and that's exponential. And you can just visualize it here, these exponentially increasing dots, which is just one reflection of this. This is what happens when you have a slightly bent outward mirror in this triangle setup. You can see that as you get further into the reflections, you see some stretched out ones. It makes quite a lot of sense because it's basically the opposite of exponentially increasing amounts of reflections as we go on the distance. Here are just some other random setups with relatively straight mirrors. It would just be cool to see. So right here I've got my regular infinity mirror table, and I noticed that if I put these mirrors on top of it, that you see a bunch of these reflections, and they're kind of like holograms, but inside this thing, in this unreal space, and they're all these like illusions are all overlapping each other. Yeah, you can see upwards too, so it's not just down on my table anymore. Yeah, they're all overlapping because these reflections, because if you just were reflecting regular things, they would only stay within where they're supposed to be reflected. But you're reflecting these things like this, which stick out way beyond this mirror. This is a partial mirror, so you're actually reflecting all of the things down here, not just the things above here, which means that all of those reflections are overlapping and just like multiplying a bunch. You see these like this starry space, all these reflections overlapped. I'm gonna just put this triangle setup here also. That's cool.